anymore. So there's the problem with that. But you shouldn't have the same starting conditions over and over and over again. Because if you do that, you might as well have them start off with the same base over and over. Why even bother having them build the buildings? They already know how to do it. The only people that don't are people that haven't really played the game before. So forcing them to build the buildings in the same starting conditions over and over again is just a pain in the ass. Thing you could do for the building part is, say, what you could do something called a build plan, which is like a pre-plan maker, where the people would set up what buildings they want made, when they want them made, what units they want made, when they want them made, so they don't have to bother with that over and over and over every game that they do. They know how to do it. People say that if you have that in, then, you know, everyone will be great and everybody will be doing copying other people's strategy, but they already do that. It's like, well, you're not forcing them to learn how to do it. Yes, you are. They have to know how to do it. And, you know, it's not that it takes that long of them doing it before they're able to do it continuously, because they do it every frickin' game. It's not like you're taking away a challenge, a big challenge in the game. People are able to learn what times to make the buildings and when to get the best or the quickest assault with their army. It's not that challenging. It's just monotonous practice, which isn't fun. Granted, it's a challenge, but that's like saying, you know, some crafting game, you know, some Morpeg where the crafting and it takes hours and hours doing the same thing over and over. Sure, that is an accomplishment because it's hard to do, but it's also incredibly boring. So I don't like the argument against that. And the pre-plan, you make it and then you start the game and you say, I'm going to start with this plan. The units automatically start doing that for you. You give your own commands, and that way you get to command the army the majority of the time. What you're doing the majority of the time is using the units made to make assaults and do reconnaissance and stuff like that. And if it turns out the plan you originally chose isn't going to work, you can change the plan or halt the plan mid-game and tell it to do an alternate plan. And you have the list that comes down and you choose one or whatever. And to me that'd be much better, because then you have the computer doing all this monotonous shit that you could do anyway, and you get to do the fun stuff. That seemed to make a lot of sense to me, but whenever I pitch that idea to anyone, they just seem to freak out and go, that's not the point, because they're so used to having to build the buildings over and over and over and over again. You know, in I think in original Warcraft they had a mode that I play with my friends a lot. It was just no buildings at all, and each side would start with a set amount of units, and then the entire game was just you commanding your units to try and take out their units, and there's just no building involved at all. There's just one army versus another army, and the whole time it was just combat is what you were doing. And a lot of times we enjoyed it a lot more than the normal, you know, get your resources, build your thing, build that, get your units, upgrade, blah 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 blah, because it just cut the crap out and you got to do the fun stuff, which was the combat. The game should always be fun. I think I said that before sometime. And another complaint I had, some RTSs like StarCraft 2, for instance, made it very difficult to command your units. Like I said, I tried to click on this type of unit, and then click on the spell I wanted to use, and then try and click on a target, and by that time half of those units are dead, or almost all of them are dead. And it's like it's not like they didn't have an ability that could save them or help them in some way. It's just that I couldn't command them fast enough with how quick the combat went. Now in other RTSs, or like Warcraft 3, they had like autocasting. I think they have it in StarCraft 2. auto-casting, where you get to choose an ability and the unit would automatically do it. The problem in Warcraft 3 was not all of them had it, which didn't make sense to me. Why give it to some and not to others, or some abilities and not to other abilities? And what happened was, because of that, the units that did have the auto-casting were way more used and way more popular in the game, because it made combat actually more possible and better. If you had an army with those units, you're more likely to win, because you didn't have to quickly, try and click on it and click on a target, click on it, click on a target. They would automatically do it. I really liked that system. That helped, because trying to command each and every unit individually is not easy. They don't. Oh, it fucking does that. They don't even do that in real life. They command a troop of people to do stuff, and those people will automatically do as they're told, as they're trained to do, and you can do that. And also, what they don't do in a lot of these RTSs is allow you to tell them which to attack first, because a lot of them will automatically start attacking, the first thing that hits them or the closest thing to them. And I mean, in the StarCrafts or the Warcraft 3, they would automatically attack the healers first and stuff like that, which is fine. But you should be able to command that. You should be able to not have to click on all of them and tell them attack this one. If they're already programmed to automatically attack something first, you should be able to put that in, like a list of priorities already. Attack this unit first, this type of unit second, etc. And if you don't want them to do that, pull out of that normal plan, you can change it. You can change that plan, or you could try and manually command them yourself. And Warcraft 3 wasn't bad because they had the idea of less units, more balanced army that would win. It was very balanced. StarCraft 2 didn't seem very balanced to me, and there's a lot more units, so commanding was a pain in the ass, especially when all your units are dying very, very fast. So combat went very quickly, and it was very frustrating for my friends and I that are trying to play it, but we all stopped playing it. One of the ways I know that StarCraft 2 isn't doing very well is that the company's coming out with, or has already come out with, this starter pack thing where you get to play part of the game for free, and get to play just the Terran on the internet for free, or for $5 or something, and if you like it, you can pay the rest. They wouldn't come out with such a thing if people were not playing the game. That was a double negative. They wouldn't need that if the game was doing well. How about that? But they're trying to get more people to play the game, and it's not working. And, a lot of the StarCraft 1 original fans don't like this, and if they can't keep their fan base going from one generation to the next, it's not going to work out well. But again, they didn't fix the already problems that exist with RTSs, or they just didn't really use the positive part, which is the feeling of accomplishment people get, and the smaller grind they feel from RTSs, or at least as they had in the past, where it was very quick pace, very action oriented and such like that. And now it's gotten to a lot of boring strategy and imbalance and crazy ass units, which I'll admit look cool but are hard to use. I'll just put it that way. That's all.